Okay, so sitting in the XR6, this is a bit more closer look at my mock-up unmarked police car. That looked too bad. Good enough. What I've been wondering is removing the cluster by itself, dash pad, gauges, whatever you want to call them. I haven't seen any of these on YouTube where they explain how to remove them. I don't know how to remove them, so I'm going to have a look into it and see how to remove this cluster. So stick with me, and if you want to remove it or remove your one, hopefully this helps you in some way. What I'm getting done is I'm going to be doing this to this car and my XR6 mock-up ute. You can get on the center part of this digital display, you can have police come up on it. So I thought with the mock-up police car, I'll have one, and I like the look of it, so I'm going to put it on my ute as well. So stay tuned how we get these dash clusters out. Within 2 seconds of me just pushing down on these two corners, you can see it's sort of like got little lips, like these little parts, and clips, and I just pretty much pushed in them down, and pushed them a little bit down on each corner, and that just clicked out. So get that out of there. So that's the first part, I think. You can see it's got like the little lugs, or whatever you want to call them, to sit in. I'm thinking, by looking at it, maybe these silver sections come out. Like with the XG Ford Divvy van that I'm doing, which I will be getting into again once I get rid of this XR6. They had just a couple of screws up the top. It seemed a lot simpler, but looks like they've got rid of the screw system up there. So it's just a matter of just checking what's holding her in, without breaking anything, of course. But there might be screws behind this. Anyway, I'll keep on looking and let you know as soon as I know. Okay, it didn't take me too long. What I did is a slight push up there, just with a very skinny flathead screwdriver, because you don't want to put too many marks around your dash. You want to have it very ultra fine if you can. I just clicked up that, and then that pushed out a little bit already. Alright, then what I did is just pushed it out a little bit more, and then this started to lift up here. Alright, then I just worked my way along here with the flat nose screwdriver, just a little bit by bit, and it started to unclick, and then more here, and then more, a little bit around here, just very slowly so I didn't crack it, and then around the edges. So this thing is ready to lift out, I think. And another thing is, what I forgot to say, is just drop your steering wheel. You got like a little lever there, it pushes up, so you pull that down and your steering wheel flex up and down, which you want to give in there more room. See, when your steering wheel's up, it's really covering that in. So with removing this, I'd say that you want to keep that steering wheel down as much as possible. Okay, I'm going to need two hands, but let's see how that, see if that fully comes out now. So what I've noticed, that rubber's got sort of like lugs into it. You could probably try to pull them out if you really want to take this all the way out, even just to if you're going to paint this or something. But for me, with the steering wheel down, I can see screws. Wait, where are they? There's one there, and a little bit further over, there's one there. Is it the one for the dash? One second, let's open the door for a second. You'd think they'd have one. Oh yes, down there. Right in there. Should be there somewhere. Can I see a screw in there, or is it being taken out? No, there it is. There, right there. So, 2 screws, and I reckon, I think it looks like there's got 2 screws holding that in, minus obviously this plastic thing. I'll take those two screws out. They're Phillips screwdriver, so I'll take those out and see how loose she gets. Yeah, that screw I was pointing to on this side, it was actually a little bit further up on the right, but it's only 2 screws, looking like it holds it in. Look at that. So I'm just slowly just pulling that out at the moment, because it's obviously going to have cords, which I'm going to need 2 hands again with. But let's see what cords it has, and get this girl out. Yeah, she's out. Now I'll be honest with you, as always. They the right hand side was a lot more. They've only got push things up there to unclick them, but it's just getting your hand in there and stuff like that to push that up. But they've only got 2, so you do one side at a time. And she is out. So if you look at the back, there's your 1 plug, there's your 2. Pretty simple actually. As far as I remember, when I first had my Tirana, and they had sort of like a push on. It was a little bit like like the bike cable sort of thing, where it's got a clip, and then that sort of like got a diamondy sort of shape that sits in, and then that rotates, and then rotates on your gearbox and gives you your speedo. So a little bit different to the electronic ones now. So that's a good result. Like I said, I didn't see anyone ripping out an FG cluster. So that's how the cluster comes out, just with those. They're in the small Phillips heads, and yeah, so it's that silver one. So I started to do that one I said on camera, but then I worked out it's just a bit further up. So it's only that one and that other silver one just there. And yeah, you can get it off with this still partly remaining and everything intact. So that's pretty much all I wanted it for. When I get this back from getting the police logo put on it, I might actually, I'll link it, I'll stick it behind this video, I think, or on this video, because I'm going to take out my FG Ute cluster as well, because they're both going to get done at the same time. Yeah, it's the same thing. Going to be, again, just lifting up these bits of the plastic which goes right across. We're going to first, which I've already done, pull that down so it's up, pull it down, and then that can drop. So the same thing again. See, this is what I did. So if you just push a little bit, ooh, like that, the whole thing just drops. You see, the whole thing just dropped out straight away. And then the same thing, so we get the plastic right across, and to get this other cluster out. For some reason, this one on my Ute, This clicked out a lot easier. So again, we've got to get to, what do we have to get to? We have to get to that nut in there. And this time I'll show you the right one. So it's that one, that higher one. That higher one, not the one at the back, the higher one you have to get. It's only 2 screws and those 2 cables. Remove it with ease. It's not bad, it's not hard. Just don't break. These are very thin plastic here, so just be careful taking your centerpiece unclicking. Just take it easy, there's no rush. You don't want to break your plastics if you can help it, of course. But take your time, treat it like a baby if you have to, and take a lot of care with it, and you will get a lot more positive results than just rip. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna get those screws. Now before I've loosened those screws off, before I actually pull it out and pull the wires off, I will connect the battery, because I have it disconnected while I'm not doing anything with it. And let's turn on the dash and see what it normally is on this one. I should have done that with the XR6, but you most likely know pretty much what happens there. But anyway, just for memory sake, I'll do it on this one. And I'll connect the battery, then just put it to ignition and see what that displays. And then when I get the other logo on and put the dash in, we will see the difference. Okay, so battery connected. Shows you the kilometers that are on the ute. And now it's put up to the ignition. Oops, wipers are coming on. Obviously that comes up. Probably have to remove a few fault codes on this ute when I actually get it on the road. But yeah, so there's your overspeed drive off. It's coming out with that fault for some reason. But yeah, so as you can see, when I'm going to ignition, turn it right off, go into ignition. So there should be some difference when I do it next time. As you can see, I've removed that cluster. Now I would advise taking the left hand plug out first, bring the cluster to its side and then pull that one out. That, oh, there goes the cluster, and I just fell in the back of the carpet. This one is a mongrel, so you're going to need patience with this one. They don't give you much. There's that lip, I think it's that white one. That white thing you got to press up a little bit or something. There's something there. Yeah, the whole thing. That real small. You can see it. That little in front of the white. That's the little black lug you got to push up. Now, what I did also is I got my thin screwdriver, because you can barely get to that and push that up. So I got my screwdriver there. In that, it's got a little bit of a ridge, and you get the most finest whatever finger can get in there and push that up, and then try to push it out without shoving the screwdriver into your hand. You don't want to hurt yourself either. But there, that plug is the most mongrel thing out of the whole job. Apart from that, everything else went pretty good. Also, you'll find that when you're getting the Phillips screws out, they only loosen to a part at like a certain point. They'll loosen. Obviously, each car might be, have its own thing depending on how old the screws are, what the condition they are, and all that sort of stuff. But what I found with both of the XR6 and this FG is when you get it to the maximum and you think they're fully loose, they can still have thread holding that cluster in. So best to where's that cluster gone? It's just sitting here. Okay, I've also put painter's tape just holding that cover up, because there's a lot of those, the light sort of things that goes over, so you want to keep that on there as best as possible. And so I've got painter's tape there. Anyway, so what I was saying is, so when you're taking the screw out, see if I can put that there somewhere. So when you're unscrewing it from here, and it gets to its maximum looseness, you want to sort of like somehow grab the dash, keep your Phillips screwdriver on there, and sort of help work the thread right out with a bit of pressure behind it. And I had to do that on both sides, on both cars. So whether or not you have to do it on yours if you get it out, that's another story. But yeah, just in case you think that you've fully unscrewed it and why isn't it coming out, you got to make sure these screws are fully off their thread. Just another tip. So that, a little bit hard with that that wire at the back on this one, and yeah, apart from that, otherwise, again, that's the FG cluster out. So next will be both logos on both cars, so I'll join that to this next video. Okay, so got the dash back with the police logo put on it. I'm just going to remove this tape and start the install process, which pretty much is just the reversal of how they come out. So I'm going to take this tape off and get her put in, and then I'll turn on the dash and see if it works. Okay, the dash is now in. Everything's complete. Looking good. Let me just off the interior light. Will that come off? Oh, what's the wrong one? Okay, I haven't tried this. I only just connected the battery, so if it doesn't work, well, I'm gonna have to go back. If it does work, it'll be interesting. Alright, let's turn the ignition on. Oops, wrong key. That doesn't help, does it? Try the right key. Whoa! Freaking wipers again. Wow, that looks great. Let's try that again. Just do wipers, 1 second. It's because I've been mucking around. Now, let's try that again. I guess you got to sort of like let it comes up for a short time, because there's power to it. It must like drain a little bit of it's a little bit like the radio logo, like the dash might have to sit for a little bit before that logo comes up. But you could see from the initial putting on the ignition, that came up with the police logo. I'll try once more, but I think it needs to deplete a little bit. Yeah. So what I'll do, just quickly, I'll pull the battery right off and just try that once more. Okay, the FG Ute dash cluster is back in. Now, just a quick tip, because if you don't have a magnetic screwdriver, where's my screwdriver? If you don't have a magnetic screwdriver, there's also ways you can Google magnetizing your screwdriver. I did watch one years ago, but I forgot. But if you're just randomly doing something and haven't had time to do something like that, you can always put your screw, nut, whatever, and then put the tape around it, and there's just, you know, small bit of tape around the actual screw and the screwdriver, because these are on such an angle like that, you can have them drop off if they're not magnetized. So just a little bit of tape around your Phillips head or flathead, just to hold them together until you get that actually in the hole, and then start screwing. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? Yeah, you can do that and not lose as many nuts and screws down the crevices down there. So just a small tip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is connect the battery and see how that logo goes on this one. Okay, so I connected the battery, and there's my lights again. Yeah, so connected the battery, and let's see how this one goes. First time since it's been done. Now she's in. Let's see if we can get a better capture of it. She turns on. Bang. That one lasted longer. Don't know what to go with that. I'll go back to the XR6 and try that again, but that's a good result. Just turn it back off. So that's the completion of the FG dash cluster removal, and yeah, something different, putting a different sort of logo on. I'll just go to the XR6 and then that'll be the finish of this video, and I hope that helped you out in your car. Okay, so come back to the XR6. I've just reconnected the battery. Let's get it in the same position as I did the Ute. And key in and ignition. Ah, yeah, it's definitely staying on a bit longer like that. So maybe because I did have the door ajar and stuff, it's got other things to think about. But that worked out well. That looks great. So that's the end of this FG dash cluster video.